Hey, hey everyone. So I'm getting back into the streaming stuff, and I was just looking at my settings on StreamYard, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has been added that looks interesting, and I wonder if I could actually use it. So, how is my audio coming in, folks? Is it too loud? Is it too sensitive? Um, I noticed on maybe what I'll do is move the microphone closer to me. I noticed watching a previous video that I did recently that even the mouse clicks was being detected and picked up by the microphone. Okay, um, yesterday I started a new project on for the VSS, and I'm going to switch screen. Maybe this is not a good idea. I really need to get an arm for the microphone. I need access to the keyboard. Maybe I do like that. Okay. Um, yeah, sit back a little bit. Okay, yeah, I need access to the keyboard because I have to enter in numbers. Um, let's see. I gotta switch screens because I'm still in StreamYard. Switching to SolidWorks. Okay, so just give a little bit of time for people to realize I'm streaming. Maybe I should actually switch over to Facebook and let people know. Let's see. Yeah, you could tell I don't do this all the time. Uh, Switch over to Facebook. And it just so okay, there's the menu. Okay, I'm going to type in we are live. I'll just say that. We are live. And of course, the phone has to enter 3 words as one word, sticking some character in between. Okay, next. Murphy's Law. If it could go wrong, it will. When you do live streams, yeah, it all wants to go wrong at the very beginning. Okay. So, this is my little work area. Temporary now. We're looking for a new place to get, which will, if it goes through, I'll have a much bigger area to do streaming, and probably larger table, or at least cleaner table. Because what I got here is stuff all around. I have a lot of loose prints, and I've been sanding, painting, gluing, and assembling things. So, to put some context, let me switch over, go to a bigger screen here. Did this in Florida for the VSS. It's basically a generic tray, something to carry. The idea is to carry equipment in the VSS. So what I have had done in Florida, and I didn't bring it with me here. I had some consoles that I had made for another project, the Zombie Lab, the Dire Warriors Zombie Lab, not the other brand of 3D printed props that we used to take to JoeCon and then later to JoeFest. And every so often you'll see it in pictures of the VSS. But so the idea um, that I came across recently thinking about the VSS is, yeah, you're in space. You know, the VSS, my VSS is a space vessel. So there's a lot of, issues about gravity, zero G, things like that. Things get easier to move. So to fight against that, you know, Cobra develops the technology to do gravity plating, essentially. So the VSS has artificial gravity. And that means that, items like this, maybe they won't weigh as much, but they still will have weight. Anyway, the other thing too is that we want to, because of gravity, really, you want to secure all of your loose items. Tables need to be secured to the deck, consoles need to be secured to the deck, heavy equipment, a printer, um, everything needs to be secured so nothing goes flying around. So what I did is I did a bunch of these little, I don't know what you call them, containers really, that I could put console and have a forklift or so come and lift it up, move it around. And it's got attachments that you can kind of see it there, where it, the console can be fastened down onto the deck. So it's got its uses for the VSS. Now, I didn't bring any of those consoles with me here because I had the idea that, okay, I am bringing already four luggages. It's going to be quite full. Um, I'm really fighting for every ounce of weight. So the last thing that I wanted to do was to bring some 3D printed parts. Didn't want to put that into my carry-on because that was getting full. Didn't want to put that into the luggage because that's getting, was already full. And there's always the risk that you go to get on the plane and they say, "Oh, that's too full. You have to leave something." So so I was worried about that too. So I thought, I got a printer over here. I'm bringing another printer with me. I'll go ahead and start printing what I need over here. Here being Thailand. So yesterday I started to work on a simple console design for this. I haven't finished it, but the idea is that it'll fit into there. I wanted to do something generic. So I took out SolidWorks and I thought I'll go ahead and make a generic console body. And the idea is that if I need to add new stuff to it, an interesting faceplate or something, I can simply attach it. Let me go ahead and change the background. Something like this. Let's go ahead and hide. Um, it's just sketches that don't really have an extrusion. So this is what I was thinking of. I'm going to get rid of this actually, this part here. So this is what I was thinking of. And it's basically, it's very generic. The idea with this is, like I just mentioned, I can 3D print a panel with some sort of detail and attach it, glue it to the front, to the back, the sides. What I found to be useful for the sides, though, is to make like some sort of tray, some sort of platform that can be attached to the side of the console, so you can add other consoles, a computer, some machinery, a fire extinguisher, something that sticks out, and ideally being removable, so some sort of stand. And so that's what I intend to do with the sides here. But the front and back, the front should be some sort of I don't want to say an opening door. That's possible. On this design, I don't want to do an opening door at the moment. Uh, I'll do that for later. I just want to have something done here. Later, I'll do an opening door, or I'll make this so it can be cut away, manually cut away. And actually, that's not a bad idea. I was thinking a little bit about that yesterday. I still need to design the top, and that's what I was hoping to do today on the live stream. I don't want to take too much time on the stream today, maybe an hour or two. I really wonder how those streamers who can go like a full 6 hours um, regularly. I wonder how they manage it. But I'm not a streamer, as you all know. But I do find it fun, especially when things start working and things go together, and especially when the audience is engaged in terms of asking questions, because that really helps me either for the current video or the next video, a topic on the next. So on this, StreamYard is telling me Facebook has changed some of the way they do permissions or privacy type stuff. So I have this thing streaming on 3 locations: YouTube, um, Facebook, private personal wall, and the Die Warrior store. And I really need to get my second laptop set up here so I can keep an eye on what's going on with comments and stuff like that. So if I don't get around to seeing your comment in this video, I will address it next video. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I think I like the idea. Let me put back show all types. So this must be the front. No, I guess not. This is the front. I am going to make a little outline here because I just want to see what I'm doing. Let's do a sketch. So SolidWorks is my go-to program for anything 3D. Slowly, little by little, Die Warriors has plans to get into the virtual reality space. Not necessarily for gaming or anything like that, but for design, 3D design. I do have a Quest 2, but I'm looking to get a Quest 3, and mostly for the AR pass-through features. Mostly because you see this. The idea is design this. It's done in 3D. It'll be great to just have a headset where I could see the object hovering in front of me virtually, and that I can manipulate it without ever having to print it. So that way I could put a real world figure right next to the virtual object and see if it's too big, if it's too small. I could put it right next to the figure's feet and see how the arms of the figure will address as if the figure is typing or manipulating something on it without ever having to actually do a 3D print. So that, so in other words, I save time and save material. And Dial Warriors is perfectly set up for stuff like that. SolidWorks is one of those, well, the company that owns SolidWorks has positioned SolidWorks to be, very involved in virtual design type stuff in just the way I just described. So it's very competitive for the CAD market. Autodesk is doing the same things. Dassault Systems, which is the company that owns SolidWorks, they're very involved with the VR uh, industry, and as well as Microsoft and all those other big players. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I want to make a type of I guess I'll do it right there. I want to make something that if the user punches a hole into this object, into this platform, into this console, in order to put something like a cabinet, there's got to be something in the back that will help support it. Well, I guess I could make it like a box so that if this thing is cut away, it would make sense to have a box. Yeah. I'll do that instead. Okay. Never mind. I will backtrack and I will save what I have already. And I'll move on. And part of moving on, there's a lot of little details I haven't done with this yet because I'm waiting to do the top part right now. But I got these areas here, that could be done, made into some sort of handrail that could be attached or replaced with some other type of device, something to carry some other kind of device. So all these areas here are attachment points, really. Okay, now the top part. I'm going to just trace the top here, and I'm going to, well, yeah, I'll just do this, copy. Okay, so this is how I get a bunch of these orphan sketches that are just laying around in the extrusion. I do these little sketches for other add-ons. File, new. Okay. And top, sketch, paste what I got, and let's do a simple centerline area. I know there's other ways to do a centerline, but I've settled by habit into this way. Okay, so do a spawn extrusion, 10 millimeters. I usually work with a caliper. I've got this little brass caliper, very manual. Do I want to do 10? Yeah, 10 millimeters might be a little bit too tall. I think I should reduce it to about, let's say, 8 millimeters. And I need to do the top here, sketch. extrude this let's say it's a 2 millimeter extrusion. Actually, it could be less. I don't have any problems in doing it less, 1.5. And let's go this direction. I could print, if this is just a tabletop, a flat top, basically, which has its own little advantages. I could, well, let me just show you what I mean. Let me go ahead and save this file, save as. I don't know if you can see this screen. Doing my file convention for this is GM for generic machine. This is version 11. I'll just say top. I don't know what to call it. Top A. Let's do that. Okay, and I'm going to now open up another file piece. This will be an assembly. And I will do the main body first. Okay. To make it easier to see, I'll do black background. And then I'm going to insert another object, the top that I was just, it's crashing. Can you believe that? On live stream? Okay, restarting SolidWorks. It crashed on live stream. How embarrassing. Okay. So I'm bringing up the previous open recent. Oh, can you see this? Is it sharing? No, it's not sharing. Okay. How do I do share? Share screen, window, SolidWorks, share. Okay, just to see. Okay, yeah. So then I go back to, and I do the top again, open that up, change the background to black. And I do again, because it wasn't saved before the crash, open a new assembly, do the body, insert component, top, and I'll do the background, black. And then I'll tell the thing to hide all types, because all I want to do here is just show how it's going to be built. So this is the basic idea. I'll just do it like this, and I'll do the inside. My style for doing assemblies like this is actually to generate another file. I'll demonstrate. I'll demonstrate as I go along. Let me switch to the top. Let me go to extrude. Go to sketch. Let me copy this. Copy. Let me go to the new part. Top plane. Sketch. Paste what I just copied. And okay, now here's something. I'm going to go ahead and delete this and delete this. Now I will do an offset of 0.25 millimeters. The base geometry is going to be a construction line. So you'll get these dotted lines. Anything with a dotted line is a construction line, so it's going to be ignored. But it's used for, human reference. Reverse the direction. So this is the offset. The offset meaning there's a discrepancy in the measurements of 0.25. So this is uh, just enough of an offset that it will fit into the body of the console tightly, but not super tight, but tight enough that it'll be secure, especially with the layer lines from the 3D printing. The layer lines will act like a rough surface and provide some good grip. So I'll go okay. Now I do another offset, but this time I'll take off the construction geometry for the base stuff, and I'll do reverse direction. I'll make this one into 1.5 millimeters. So the space between this and this is 1.5 millimeters. And I shall make this into, let's go, going in the down direction. I shall make this into let's say 2.5 millimeter, actually 2.75, and the top will also be 2.75. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Well, I won't beautify the thing yet. Let me go ahead and save this. So I'll show you why I do this method now. And basically all of my designs that require, something like this. Inside. What do I normally call this? I don't remember. I'll just call it inside. I don't know what to call it. Inside ring? Inside sleeve? Let's just call it inside. Inside A. Maybe I'll do another one. Okay, save. Just for our purposes to see, let's go ahead and change the color of this. So when we start to build the assembly, you can see how things are going to be connecting. What's a good color for this? I never really care for that. I don't want to do green. I don't want to do like pure red, because usually when I do pure red, that means that it's something I'm going to cut away, like a support structure, something that I'm using with the model to help it print, but then I plan to just clip it off. But I tend to use these slightly reddish, slightly pinkish. Let's do that for this. Okay. And save this. Let's go to the assembly. I don't have anything saved on the assembly. I should save it right now. Rebuild and save the document. Yes, we shall call it assembly GM 11, generic machine 11, and 1-1. Components must be saved. Yeah, save it all. It's my copy from earlier. Now I'm going to insert the that new part. Okay, so this is the reason why. Before I do that, I need to alter this one. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and make a plane. Reference geometry. I'm going to make the spacing at 3 millimeters. Flip the offset to there. The reason why I made the length of that other part at 2.75 millimeters is because it's going to be inserted into this part of the console. And it's only going to go as deep as 2.75 millimeters, not the full 3. I always do a spacing offset of 0.25, a quarter of a millimeter, when I do things like this, when I have a part that's inserted into another part. So let me go to, okay, let me go to Sketch. And let's do a simple triangular piece. These things print well. But there's something else I need to consider. The direction of this thing being printed. How am I going to print this? Am I going to print it standing up? Or will I print this? Yeah, I guess I'll print it standing up. The only thing, though, is that there will be an overhang, which is here. The only thing, though, is that with an overhang, it depends on the printer that's doing the printing. Some printers handle overhangs extremely well. Others, others do not. There's ways to get around it, aesthetic ways. I am thinking of actually beautifying this piece a little bit, but with some, some techno-looking aesthetics. But anyway, okay, since I am going to be printing this in the normal direction, I can resume. I can resume making that little triangle. Okay. So let's make this into a 3 millimeter. 3 millimeter wide on one side, or on the other side. Oh, make it 3. Doesn't want to change. Well then, too bad. I'll delete it. 3 millimeters. Okay, there it is. And now what I'm going to do is make a mirror of this in 2 directions. Just making sure it's a straight line. Okay. So then mirror. Now I have 2. And then mirror again. Now I have 4. Extrude. I am just going to make this 1.5. And go down. Now for practical stuff, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make basically a self-supporting structure right here, a rounded area to fight against overhangs. It does make a significant difference. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, for strength, I'm just going to do a little, but around the edges. Again, it depends on the type of printer you're using. Some printers have trouble uh, printing thin pieces, thin walled pieces at 90 degrees. Sometimes the 90-degree area have holes. And so to fight against that, I usually round the edges here. It also helps in terms of stresses and things. So save. Now getting back to the assembly. Okay, so now let's do it like this. I'm going to mate this side with a 0.25 offset to this side. Okay, yeah. And now I'm going to mate this side with a 0.25 offset to this side. Okay. And now I'm going to make this also with a 0.25 offset. 0.25. I say offset, but it's a spacing, not really an offset. It's an incorrect terminology on my part, but okay, you can see it's in this direction here. Okay, and that's the reason why I did that plane at 3 millimeters, because this is half of it is 2.75 and there is a 0.25 spacing. Now what I'm going to do, say, is I'm only going to do a little bit here. I'm going to take this, mate it with a spacing of 0.25 to this. And I'm just thinking, there is an aesthetic issue that I am going to address in just a moment. 0.25. And this is the aesthetic issue I'll get to. I could easily mate this side here and it'll become flat. Okay. But what I have found is, especially in my style of these techno looking consoles and such, is to have a little gap in between. It's just a little bit of eye candy. Uh, the gap can be, significant. This part can be painted some other color, and the gap can be done in such a way where that color is noticeable. Um, but I'm just going to have it. I don't know yet. So because I don't know, I'll go to the. Well, first of all, first thing is save what I have. Okay, rebuild and save. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to do another little plane. Insert reference geometry plane. I'm going to say 3 millimeters, just so I can have something to work with. And instead of doing a triangle, I am going to do a rectangle and basically make it into a one. Yeah, a 1 millimeter edge, border ring that goes around, something that will stop it from going all the way through. You'll see in just a moment. So one, I will make this. I'll extrude it all the way because there's not much of a spacing. I'm not going to lose a whole lot of material. Usually, if this was a taller structure, I'll just do just a small little extrusion, and but it's so close to the top of this item, this object, it's not going to make a difference. So okay, so it's this here. I'm going to go ahead and round the corners here. This was 1 millimeter. I'm going to do it as 0.5. No, 0.75, leaving a quarter of a millimeter gap. So I could do another fillet right at the edge, like right here, 0.25. And this is done because, again, with the type of printer, some printers it'll print really well, others won't be able to handle it. I use so I use Dye Warriors uses many different kinds of printers, and although a lot of the smaller printers print fast and can print this area, or actually print slow and print this area very, very well, some of the larger printers I notice do have trouble. It's like the larger the printer, the more, I suppose, the vendor, the makers of it, are focused on people who are doing, like, large prints, an Iron Man mask or a Mandalorian helmet or something like that, something large. And they don't seem to consider that there's a market out there using these large printers for very small pieces. So it's almost as if the small printers are better geared for small prints, and the large printers are better geared for large prints, but not for the small ones. Anyway, my technique is, since I use different printers, and so I try to design in such a way where it's friendly for many printers. This design will also work well for a resin printer. So everything you see me do here can be applied to resin as well, with good results. And you'll be surprised how clean the results will come out, although the resin printers will handle it extremely better than the filament ones. Um, but since often I don't know what specifically I'm designing, what printer I'm designing the object for, um, I'll try to, how you call it, print for the lowest common denominator, really. Now, what I'm doing here is making a support structure. And the reason why I'm doing this is because if I print this with an object on top, some sort of greeble or something on top, then I'll have to print it then right side up, something like this. Okay. But if I print it upside down, like for tabletop, then then everything is going to print cleanly. There will be no real need for support structure other than this direction, for this thing. Well, actually, no, I won't have to. Sorry. So if I print it upside down, it will print cleanly, and I won't have to do any kind of support structure or anything like that, because there will be no overhang. But because I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, I don't know if this is going to be a simple tabletop, or if I will have greebles on top of it. I could print the greeble separately. That might be an issue. That might be a thing to do, actually. Okay, let's just take this as is and see what we do. Yeah, I know. I am not going to get rid of that sketch. What I'm going to do though is just leave it alone. Save it. Okay, what I'm going to do here is round, fillet the items. Let's say this is a tabletop, and let's say if I start to add to it, I'll just print greebles as a separate object that can be glued, attached some way to the tabletop. So 0.5 is a nice little rounded, we'll give a nice little rounded look. Save this, take a look at it on this. Now, coming back to the assembly here, let's say I made the top. I want this with a separation of 0.25. I just wanted to come in contact with this line here. Okay. Now the reason why I did it as a plane is because if I want to add a little spacing, I can just change the measurements for this plane. Edit sketch. Actually, I'm editing the wrong thing. The plane here. So let's say we want a 0.5 millimeter gap. So let's say 2.5. Save this. Come over to the assembly. Tell the thing to update. Now there is a small little gap. For me, I tend to like the small little gaps like this, although this one can use a little bit more, but um, let's just see how things look when I start to add some beautification, like rounded corners, things like that. Save this. Oh, let's do, again, rounded corners on this. Coffee. Coffee helps the brain cells. Okay, say yes. So yeah, I think I could do a little bit more of a gap. Let's increase the plane. Let's make it a nice 2 millimeters. I don't want to go too much. Save this. Cut back over here and say yes. So now there's a 2 millimeter gap. Now let's finalize this a little bit more. I am going to do a nice rounded 0.5 millimeter fillet around the corners here. But what I will do here on the top, I'm going to fillet this with 2.5. And I'm also going to do a fillet of 2.5 on the inner corners here. Mostly because I'm trying to eliminate 90-degree corners on the printer. And then in doing that, I can just simply select an edge and it will travel along the edge. It's called tangent propagation. So when it gets to a tangent of something, it will propagate the um, the fillet to the next direction, and then it'll tangent, to the next direction from that. So tangent propagation will allow the um, the fillet to travel along the edge here. Okay, now this is done. Save. All that I really need to do now on this one is make an STL, which I'm not going to do at the moment because I'm not ready to print this just yet. Now I go back to this. Let's go to the body. And with the body, let's do a rounded of 0.25 along the corner here, the inner corner. To help the pieces fit in, sometimes there's terminology like elephant's foot, where the bottom of a print of even a resin print can mushroom as it's pressed against the build plate. So you'll end up having a shape that's kind of coming down vertically, and then it kind of billows, mushrooms a little bit towards the bottom. That's referred to as an elephant's foot. Although most likely I'm going to print this going up, the part that fits in, okay, that little inner piece might have an elephant's foot at some point. So in order to allow easy insertion when you assemble this, I found that having a little tapered or a little filleted um, area helps guide the other piece into into the object that's going in. Okay, because it doesn't have to be necessarily this particular table. I mean, I've experienced the same issue concerning like inserting a straw into a hole, inserting a peg into a port for another peg. The same things can apply. Sometimes a print is printing really well, and then you put the piece together and say, oh well, this piece here has a little bit of an elephant's foot. I didn't notice. The overall print is fine. It's not going to affect the assembly or anything. It just makes a little bit tighter just to put it in. So this will just make it a little bit easier to put this in. I am now going to do another fillet. Let's try 0.5. So there's a little bit of harmony with the top part, since that's also 0.5. Now, what I'm thinking about here is, well, let's see. Let me find that little, I don't know what to call it, the cage piece. I don't know. Let me switch over to Windows Explorer here and see if I have VSS. Go to consoles. So I call that thing machine rail system. Um, extra large icons. I got other little versions of it. Do I have an assembly? I have partially an assembly. I don't have a full assembly. Let me go ahead and make a full assembly. So let me open this one up. Rebuild. And let me open up the next piece. All for a new assembly. Let's see, and open up this piece. Okay, view, hide all types. I do realize if there's any comments, I am not looking at them at the moment. I will get to them. Now I feel guilty. Maybe let me see if there's any comments real fast. There's so many places for me to go and see. I don't want to switch. Okay, I don't think there's any comments at the moment. And if there is, I apologize for not seeing them, but I will find out, and I'll address them in the next video. Okay, so let me change the background. Okay, I'm going to make a very quick assembly because it's not done. New assembly. Oh gosh, what do I call it? Machine platform A? Yeah, okay, good. So let me change the background on this also. And let me go ahead and save this. I wonder, how come I have other assemblies here, but I didn't see them in Explorer. I don't want to be recreating the wheel. Assembly. Yeah, excuse me. I don't know what to call it. Console. Rail. System. Let's try 1-1. Boom. Well, I got some messages. Maybe someone did leave a comment. I'm getting comments on IT humor. Okay. Let's see. So what I'm going to do here is take this piece and change the background. But the reason why this is join A, okay, let's try that. The reason why I'm doing this, insert component, join A, view, hide, is that, let me show you here. StreamYard. So this piece here, okay, it wants to focus on my face apparently. Maybe if I keep my face still and I just move this, it'll focus on that. Come on. Now it wants to focus on my hand. I wonder if this has a type of facial recognition, to know what is a face and what is not and try to focus on the face. Anyway, man, I can't get around it. Anyway, what you see here is this is that join A part that I'm working on. The idea is some consoles might need to be secured with a screw to the to this item, and so I have ports there for adding these holes, ports there for adding pegs from a console, or including this bit piece here, or screws, these little holes there. So the idea is multiple ways to secure a console. Sometimes you might be in a position where maybe it's at, let's say, going to Joe Fest, and this is something we want to do soon. And sometimes, you don't want to glue all of your props. Especially in my situation, I'm constantly refining the props. I'm constantly adding new props. I don't want to necessarily have to print this all the time for every new prop that I'm printing. So I don't want to use glue, or at least not use glue all the time. So what I want to do though is, especially when I'm taking this to something like ShowFest, is I want to have the parts already assembled in a semi-permanent way. If it's pegs, pegs might get loose. It's pegs are great, but you can kind of work out to remove. But screws are a little bit more permanent, and while at the same time not being glued. So that's the reason why I'm doing this piece inside here right now. And this console that I'm doing is going to be designed for that too. Uh, okay, I need to get back. Okay, good. Okay, so do my little offset real fast. 0.25. Ooh. Okay. And this would be a nice little join right there. This would also, that's done. Let's see. Actually, did I do it right? Oh no, actually, it should be the other way around. Okay, so let me go ahead and yeah, I'm gonna have to delete all of this, yes, and do it again. Okay, so this I'm going to rotate the object, something like that. Then I'll just tell the thing to do a little offset of 0.25. I'm going to select that surface to this surface. Now I'm just going to select these, do a concentric connection right there. And connect that one to that one. Voila. Now what I could do also is colorize this piece. Just a simple color. Come down to this. Just want to make it gray, but make it a little bit darker. Save that. Okay, so now it's like this. And now the last thing is to take a look at this. Okay, so this one's assembly tray. Lack of imagination for naming. Okay, going to take that. Going to say insert component. Machine. Well, what's it? Something tray. Assembly tray. Here it is. And I'm going to go to mate. Well, that's a good one. No, let me go back and take a look. Okay, silly me, I made another mistake. So here, I will delete this. Yes. I'm going to raise this up. Now I'm going to join this right here. Mate it here to here. Make this here to here. And now this is going to get mated to this piece on top with a spacing of 0.25. Okay. Now to connect all of that, this peg is going to go straight through. I don't have to define that peg anymore since I already did, but what I do have to do is move this down. So this with a spacing of 0.25 right there. Now I'm done. Okay. So now I go save, and this part is done. Um, Perspective. Remove those lines. Looks a little bit more solid like this. Save that. Now I go back to this console here. Although this isn't quite completed yet, we can start to see kind of the bigger picture of how this is going to work. I still need to do the underside to attach. So let's go to, let's save that real fast because I see there's a little asterisk indicating it's not saved. Let's now do another assembly. Let's go new assembly. Let's say console rail system. So this is now an assembly of an assembly. Let's go to insert the other assembly, this one, and say view, hide, show, hide all types. Now I'm just going to quickly do that side. I'm going to mate it. It's going to have an offset of 0.25, a quarter millimeter offset. It's designed to, oh, well, let me see. Let's just put it flat right now. 0.25. Yeah, okay, so it's designed to be attached in the interior. Okay. So this can mate to here with a 0.25 spacing. Likewise, this can mate to that side with a 0.25 spacing right here. See direction. Okay, so that's how this is going to end up looking. Now I can take a figure. I gotta find StreamYard. I just had it. Okay. Now I can take a figure, and I can kind of see, because the top of that console is basically at the height of this. So would that look funny? I guess it's okay as a tabletop. Might be a little bit high. Yeah, I think it's okay because the figure's elbows would pretty much be or close to being at a at a 90 degree. And isn't like that's supposed to be like the ideal position? Like if you're standing and doing something at a table, your real world arms, should be about 90 degrees from the item you're grabbing. So it's not too low, not too high, something like that. I don't know. Maybe I might be thinking about typing position or something like that. Anyway, so getting back to this, what I should do next. Yeah, what I should do next. So this is a little bit on the tricky side. Ah, I have a solution. Let me see. How can I illustrate this? Okay, the inside part here, what I can do is I can put a structure, maybe going across this way, or two structures going across this way, where the screws and such could attach to this bottom area. So let me try to illustrate the other direction. So I cut this away. So looking from the top, I could do it where, yeah, well, I can do this whole thing. Hmm, is that it's going to have a large overhang, whether it's this direction or in this direction. This is going to have a very large overhang, and it's kind of important to have it where, because the way it's going to be attaching, that there's really no overhang. So this might require some extra work. What I am thinking of doing though is putting like a triangle direction here, something like this here, here. So that way there's a little bit of overhang, but not too much. And then that way I can print something like this piece as a second time and have that go up. That way it'll have a screw hole that we could attach um, like an M4 type screw or something like that. The trick part is this piece on top. That's going to be the tricky part. I could do it where it goes across and then I could have, yeah, okay. I know how to do it. I know how to do it. I know how to do it. Okay. So let's stop that. Okay, let's save this. File, save as, rebuild and save. What should I call this one? Assembly GM 11. I see. I don't know what to call this with rail. Okay, it's like a handrail system. It's rail system 1-1. Let's save this with the consoles. Well, it is. This is version 3. I don't want to do version 3. Let's back out. Let's go to consoles. Yeah. See. Yeah, this will work. New folder. No, I don't need to do a new folder. Let's just leave it as it. Okay, what I'm doing here with SolidWorks, I don't know if you can see it, but what I'm doing here is I'm just going to rely on the path that SolidWorks associates with each part. So I'm having the console in one folder, and I'm having this handrail system in a different folder. And instead of having this assembly in one folder or the other, I'm putting it into a middle folder. The idea is that I've started the VSS so many different times. I don't want to have another copy of a console folder somewhere. I want to have one common location for these consoles and then just grab them and use them in different assemblies and different projects. SolidWorks can handle that because every object has its own path that SolidWorks uses to go and find that object. So you can have one assembly with parts from one folder, another assembly with parts from another folder combined, and you have these parts going all over your hard drive. And SolidWorks can keep track of all of that. So I'm going to do that method. I'm going to have SolidWorks keep track of this stuff instead of me doing it. So if I do it, I'll be a little bit more old school, copy and have a duplicate folder. So I'm just going to do. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is, firstly, I am going to. I don't think I need this. I'm going to go ahead and close this. I think I'm going to close this also. No, I'm going to keep this one up for reference. Oh, actually, it's right there for reference. I'll close this. Keep that up. And I'll work with this. Okay, so upside down. I am going to do a plane insert to reference geometry. Until I decide, I'm going to just have it as a 2mm offset in this direction. So now I'm 2mm inside the bottom. I am going to which one do I want to do it with? This. Let's try this. Sketch. I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't have the sketch already done. So I'm just going to trace over these things here real fast. Here. Here. 1.25. Okay, so I could do a 1.25, say arc. Come over here. I'm just doing a quick little trace. I want the line to be solid, not as a construction line. And I wonder if the microphone is picking up the mouse again. All these little bitty clicks. I really need to get some microphone accessories. I'll be going to the US shortly, so I'll have to order some things on Amazon. Okay, I'm just going to. This is just a guide right there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this. Copy. Just going to leave this sketch as is in case I need to come back to it. Switch over to the bottom of this here on this plane. Go sketch and then paste. And let's see, what do I want to do here now? Make this into a construction line so it doesn't confuse me. I want to, let me just stop that right there. Let me make this sketch visible. Let me go to where it says hide all types. I know it's a little bit messy now, but that'll be fine. I got these other sketches here. Where these sketches are, okay. So let's hide these sketches. Where's the sketch at? I really don't know where that sketch is at the moment. This is the one I'm talking about. Can I double click it? Oh, okay. So with sketch 2. Don't think so. No, definitely not. Anyways, maybe it was this. Yeah, okay, there it is. Okay, so getting back to this, now see, this is the inner wall here, the inner side of that wall. So I need to make this line extend to that. Then I can trim it. Likewise, I need to do the same here. Extend, boom, boom. Now I can do a little mirror. I already have lines for that. Let me get rid of this line here. So I block this all in. And I say mirror. Oh, it already has a mirror. Okay. Undo. So let me block this all in and select another construction line, because what it will do is associate construction lines, and then I tell the thing to mirror. Because there's two construction lines, it will ask me more information. Which construction line do I want to mirror around? So let's do that. Then I can extrude this. Um, that was 2 millimeters. Let's try this. Okay. I have to make an adjustment. Okay, so this is not permanent yet. Um, okay, so this is how it looks there. Now, what I want to do here is make a quick little adjustment to the height of this. So let's select this. Let's do a cutaway. Okay, you can see how things are intersecting right here. So the yellow has, is that yellow piece there. Then I have another piece, this piece here, that was attaching to the yellow into this dark gray part. Now what I really need to do is to have the piece that I just extruded above this piece that's in blue, that's highlighted in blue. At the moment, I'm just going to eyeball it. So let's say 4. So it's 4 millimeter separation, and then there's a 2 millimeter extrusion. Okay, so now there's that gap that's there. Let's move down. Minus 0.75. Doesn't look like that. I'm trying to get a 1/4 millimeter separation, so just by eyeballing. It's a little bit too close. So it looks like it's exactly that height. So let's just go up a 1/4 millimeter, 0.25. Okay, save. Move back. Yeah, that looks like about a 1/4 millimeter. That's a 1/4 millimeter separation right there. So that looks about the same. Okay, so the idea is I have these overhangs because now this piece is going to overhang, and that's not going to have a nice print at all. Um, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a support that goes across. So let's remove this. Let's go to this piece here. I'm already in it. We could actually do it better with this. So let's go back to here. And Go sketch, sketch. This is a temporary. I don't plan to save this at all. So let's just pick this one right here. Let's do 0.25. So it'll be nice and tight. But not overly tight. Actually, let's don't do that. Instead, let's make it easy for us and do it right here. Okay. And then from the center line right there, this is all I need to do here. I need to just copy this, copy, close this, come down to the body that we were working on. Let's go to that sketch we were working on also, and paste that to the center line there. I'm going to go ahead and remove this, okay, and then I'm going to extend this, yes, and that. I'm going to go ahead and make an offset of 1.25 the other direction. Okay, I'll trim this and that. No, I don't want to save it just yet. Uh, yeah, okay, rebuild and save. Okay. Now what I want to do is select these lines there, mirror this so it's there. Let's trim this off again. And okay, so what I did here is made a frame. Now what I'm going to do again right here is okay. What I'm going to do here is make a piece that I'll have to cut off. There's one little issue that I don't quite like that I'm seeing, but we'll see how it goes. Uh, okay, anyway, what I'm going to do right here is go to features, make a fillet right here. That was 1.25. So let's just say, have a look with 5, might be too much. 0.25, okay, here and here. Why? Because, and let's just go ahead and make another fillet from all of these parts. When I do a fillet like this, it's going to be supporting itself at the corners, at these edges. It'll make for a nicer print because it's kind of like supporting itself concerning overhangs. Now what I'm going to do here is make um, the temporary structure, and it's just going to go straight across. It is temporary. Actually, I should have done it like this. Hold on. Delete. It is temporary. because after the thing prints, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. And let's make this into a construction line for mirroring. Okay, I want to, yeah, just look. I want to make this into a mirror. And likewise, I'm going to mirror this also. Okay, so I'll do an offset of 0.5. Let's see how this looks. No, 0.25. This was 1.25 originally divided by 2. Still no. Well, no. That's further divided 0.25. Okay, yeah, that's more or less what I want. Yeah, actually, this is going to come out okay. I want to do the base geometry like that. I want to do and do lines. Then what I'll do is say mirror, mirror about here. What do I want to mirror? Those. To mirror this, 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 and this. Now I will extrude this to the surface right here. Boom. Let's make this. Well, let's call this. Let's add this into a folder. Call it support structure. Hold on for a second. Oh, StreamYard. Oh, I shouldn't have. Okay, hold on for a second. Okay, looks like there's some food. So that's my clue to begin wrapping this up. So that's good. I am beginning to feel hungry. Okay, so real fast then. I'm going to go ahead and, okay, this is a temporary support structure that I just did right here. The idea is that this support structure is going to be printed, and then all these things on top of it is going to rely on the support structure to keep it from hanging. It's not a quite perfect solution because there's so many other parts here that will print hanging in the air, but I am relying that there's not too much of a space, a gap, so the printer should be able to handle it somewhat, depending, of course, on the printer. I will have to use a Dremel or some sort of file to go in and file to make it more smooth if it's too rough. But it shouldn't be an issue concerning screwing the parts together. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and make this into a little just color code. So when I see it, I know right off the bat that it is going to be a removable structure. My color code is just to make it into a bright red. I suppose I'll have to do well, I don't do the top. So whenever I see bright red like this, I know I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Save. Now I'm going to do a small little bitty alteration right there. This. this and this. Oh, let me suppress that and add another fillet right here. And then, because now I have that fillet down below, let me move the support structures below that so it changes the order. And then I can unsuppress it. So now these fillets right here, they're not going to be affected by the structure on top. Okay, so this is so far it's good enough to print at the moment. I still need to go back and do some beautification for next time. Most likely for next time, what I will do is fillet these corners. I might want to add some sort of port for attaching um, something like a hook, maybe at the bottom. The idea being is that if this is in space, as a backup to secure the item from drifting around in low gravity, it would be smart then to have something like a chain, wire rope, something like that to secure the item. Or I could do it so it looks like it's all bolted down rather than a chain. In any case, I will need to have some sort of greeble like piece uh, around here, around this area, and probably as a bolted piece. In which case, I may want to also make another greeble item that rises from this bottom part here to make it look like this console is bolted directly to this structure down there. I don't quite have to do it like that. I could also do it where it's just going to be a bumper piece. The idea is that before it's added to the console, we have some protective rubber bumpers. So if the thing is being placed into position, the bumpers are going to uh, protect it from hitting objects as it's being put into this handrail system. And then later on, I'll see about doing some sort of greeble structure, greeble piece on top. I may have to get the a G.I. Joe laptop, or maybe I'll make my own laptop for resin prints or something like that. Um, or maybe I'll look to see if Marauders has a laptop. I think they do. I think they may have more than one. I'm not quite sure. And if I have those objects in my collection, I'll try to see about getting the some measurements so that way the laptop has a nice little home to rest. And or I might just make my own. Maybe I'll make my own laptop and model it after an Alienware. Or maybe it should look like an old style uh, laptop from the late 90s, only because if this is going to be used in space, then you probably want to have one of those rugged, Panasonic type um, laptop cases. Uh, you know, they do have uh, keyboards and even laptops where it's either it's in a protective case protecting the keyboard or so, or it's the laptop itself. It's designed to be for rugged environments. You can spill things on it, take it out to the desert, warfare or something, and your laptop, your computer has a filter things like that to help keep the thing running in adverse conditions. So those things are possible. I may do something like that. Um, I'm not sure if Marauder has that type of laptop. Uh, I would expect them to, because they're going after the realism in a battlefield thing. So a rugged laptop would be great. If not, I'll have to do my own. That should be easy for injection molding, shouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. So thanks, folks. Save. This is the end of the video. I will have to do another part of it later on, depending on my mood. If I want to work with this tomorrow, expect a video tomorrow with it. If not, it'll be something else. And yeah, save everything. Now I think I will go downstairs and get some pizza. The food for programmers. Okay, folks. Thanks for joining me on this, and I'll catch y'all later. Hey, bye bye.